Lifelines as the horizontal infrastructure, so all of the pipes that takes water, electricity, telecommunications are sometimes linked in there, gas for other cities around New Zealand. It also includes the roads, and all of that horizontal infrastructure helps us live in an environment and helps us live in a dense urban kind of configuration. So it's what makes our city work.
When we started this project, we really felt that there was a gap, a big gap. Engineers looks into structures, so we really needed someone who had the big picture.
We've got a multidisciplinary team looking at different aspects of the effects of the earthquakes on flooding in Christchurch. And we've got a few people interested in other hazards as well, like sea level rise, tsunami, and all of the different hazards that we're finding out have changed with the earthquakes.
We're here with the American Society of Civil Engineers, Technical Council on Lifeline Earthquake Engineering to work with these two students for the multi-hazard project that we're spearheading, which also includes China and Japan and their recent earthquakes, and also to just do further post-earthquake investigations on the performance and restoration of the lifeline systems and how did the earthquake affect the ability to provide the lifeline services, water, sewer, telecommunications, power, and so on.
I'm looking at the effect of multi-hazards, so that's earthquake and flooding, inundation, and how that affects lifelines. And I'll be using sort of a GIS software to look at that and explore those interactions.
I'll be taking his information and then look at how lifelines, like how they were impacted directly from the earthquake and earthquake-induced multi-hazards such as inundation, floods.
Was really a question that came from the field, from the real people working in Christchurch in the reconstruction. Every day our highways are flooded, and how can we find a way of reconstructing them in a way that can sustain future earthquakes and plus not be so vulnerable at flooding? So that was the question, and at the time I passed that to the international. They just went around the world and said there is nothing. So we started together this project, and here it's a multidisciplinary project here, and it's a multidisciplinary project in the United States and in Japan.
After the earthquakes with big rainfall, we've got an enhanced flooding landscape. So areas before that were vulnerable are flooding, but we have new areas which are flooding. And the indications are from the maps we're creating that the flooding is worse after the earthquakes. Now there are a few contributing factors. Part of that is the natural drainage system, so we're talking about the river channels which have lost capacity. We're talking about the estuary, which is the sink at the end of the line that we're trying to drain all of this water out to, and that's lost capacity as well. But also the built drainage networks, so those are the lifelines, and we're still in the process of fixing them and trying to figure out exactly how they need to be fixed given the subsidence in the land.
Did you get it inside the house?
Nah, just all my sheds. Those two sheds there. Yeah, all in the sheds, all my tools, a whole lot, mate.
Thank you.
We are working pretty much with all lifeline utilities, so New Zealand Transport Agency of course, and provider for electricity and telecommunication, for gas, so we have Contact Energy on board as well. And yes, all of them, the three waters, stormwater, potable water.
We're concerned with the immediate rehabilitation of Canterbury's lifeline system, but beyond that we're very concerned with making a sustainable city infrastructure into the future. So in order to do that we have to look at the areas which have changed substantially after the earthquakes, those areas which are much more low-lying or those areas which have permanently lost some drainage capacity. And we're looking at responding to future hazards such as the ongoing creep of sea level rise.
All the pipes under the ground, you know, it's never been fixed.
So I guess it's to do with the gradient as well, isn't it? And the blockages
and also the land itself subsided.
Hopefully by quantifying the risk across our landscape now, we'll be able to feed that information into the people who have to make the decisions on where you need to change the infrastructure, where you just need to fix the infrastructure, or in a longer term planning sense, what parts of Christchurch might be unsustainable to keep habitation and the built environment in.
As an engineering student, I've been trained to think like an engineer, how to service the people using the environment, people intervening into the environment, and how to build a safe place for people to live in. But now I'm a geographer, and now I see that for some of the events, for some environment, we cannot intervene, and things that happen are just natural processes. Maybe we cannot engineer the environment to make it fit for living.
I think there are lessons that we can learn with the benefit of hindsight in Christchurch to plan more robust cities in the future.